Hello everyone and welcome to PT Coder. And today we're going to be doing our artificial intelligence course on codes.org. So the first thing you need to do is open up a tab in your browser and search up code.org. For me it takes me straight there, but for you it'll just take you to the webpage and select the first thing and then you go to, well, first I need to sign out. You'd go here, then you press sign in. And if you don't have an account, just create an account. There's going to be a link in the description on how to do that. And if you already have an account, just sign in. So I'm going to sign in right now. And then what you want to do is go down to your courses, and then you want to go to join a section and put the code that's here. The code is LSNXHK. You can pause the video here so you can go and enter the course. So once that's done, you'll be taken here. You're able to change it to the way you like it. So it could be like that or like this. So we're going to first do Intro to App Lab. And we're going to watch a video to get us started.
My name is Milani. I'm an intern at code.org, and I'm also a computer science student. I like computer science because it's really creative. I get to be the problem solver, I get to make everything function how I want it to, but I also get to be the designer. I get to be the artist and choose everything and the creative side of it. Making your own apps is easy with AppLab. Whether you're new to coding or have some experience, AppLab is a great tool for building new apps and sharing them with your friends. This is AppLab. On the left side is your app. On the right side is the code that will make it run. You build your program by dragging in blocks from the toolbox. To start, you'll just have one block, called Set Property. The Set Property block changes the look of the elements on your screen, like the buttons, labels, or even the screen itself. First, you need to decide which element you want to change. If you hover over an element in your app, you can see its name, or ID, here. Then go select that ID from the first dropdown. Elements have lots of properties you can change, like their text color, background color, or font size. You can see the full list and choose which property you want to change in the second dropdown. The last dropdown is where you'll write the value you want to use. The block will make a suggestion for you, but you can always type in different colors or numbers yourself. Once you're done, the block reads a bit like a sentence. Set button 1's background color to green. Hit run to see the changes you're building in code. If you reset, you can drag in more blocks to change other things about your app, like the text. For this tutorial, we'll be working in block mode, but AppLab also supports working in text. Either way, you'll be programming in JavaScript, the language of the web. Each level has a goal, instructions, and an image of what you're aiming to create. If you're ever stuck, click on this picture, and I'll show you exactly how to complete the level. But see if you can do it on your own first. Once you've completed the goal for this level, click Finish to move on. That's all there is to it. Hit the orange Continue button to go to the next level. Start your adventure with AppLab.
So now we're going to go into the first actual puzzle. And this says the goal is to make the screen green. it says to do it, you have to drag in a set property block using the drop down to set the screen's background color to green, then hit run. So what we have to do is just drag the set property block, and it's already set to screen 1. Then we just have to change the background color to green. And it's been set to green. The goal here is to make the text bigger and blue. It says we'll need 2 lines of code, so let's put these 2 out ready and give the label 1 a font size of 80 and give the label 1 a text color of blue. So now let's run it, and that's our end result. The goal is to make the buttons red and blue, so make sure you don't get confused with the text and make the text blue instead. So we're going to need 2 of those for that, and then change this text in the orange label. So we're going to need 3 lines of code. So what we're going to have to do is go to button 1 and change this to background color, and that's already red. Then we go to button 2 and change the background color to blue. Let's see what happens first. And now we just need to change the text of label 1. And if you hover over, you're able to see. And since it's already been set to change it, we're done. And now we're going to watch another video.
Really cool because it's kind of like starting your own business. I mean, you get to design everything from the ground up, you get to manage everything, and you're the owner of this piece of work that you just created with code. Now that you can change the look of your app, let's make it interactive by responding to events. Events are user actions, like clicking a button, scrolling through a menu, or hovering over a picture. Interactive apps need ways to respond to events, like playing a sound when I click this button. To do this in App Lab, you'll need to use a new block called onEvent. This program sets the screen to blue. I want the screen to turn green when I click this button. First, I'll need to drag in an onEvent block. By hovering, I know the button's ID is Big Button, so I'll select that in the first dropdown. Next, I'll choose the type of event. There's lots of options you can pick from, but right now I'll leave it as a regular old click. Finally, I'll add code inside the onEvent that will change the background color of the screen. You can read this block like a sentence. On the event that the button is clicked, run all this code. Let's test it. Blocks outside an onEvent still run right away, so the screen starts blue. And when I click the big button, the code inside my onEvent runs, and my screen turns green. If you want to change more things after the event, like the text on the screen, just add more code to the onEvent. To make your program respond to more events, add more onEvent blocks. Just make sure not to put them inside of each other. Now it's time to try it out for yourself. Have fun!
So now we're going to continue. And the goal for this stage is to change add code so that it turns green when you click the green apply button. So like it was shown in the video. So we need to add the set property into the on event. That'll set screen 1 to green. Since it'll start out blue because of this line of code, then if we press the button, it then turns green. And moving on to the next one. Our goal is to help finish this flashlight app. So what happens is that the on works, but the off doesn't. So we just need to add to the code so that the off button will work. So let's make it so that the label 1 will then turn black, back to black, because the light will be off. And since this is black, the text needs to be red. So then we have to change the label. We have to change the text. Well, it's part of label 1. But we actually have to change screen 1. So then we change the text color of the label to black, to white, so that you're able to read it. So let's try this. On, off. As you can see, it works. Now we're going to watch this video.
Next, you'll learn about adding images and sounds to your app. Let's start by checking out the sound options. In the toolbox, you'll find a new block called Play Sound. Drag it into the workspace. You can pick a sound to play by clicking the drop-down, then clicking Choose. From here, you can either upload a sound file from your computer or search for a sound from the sound library. The sound library has lots of different categories: instruments, background music, or animals. Once you've got the sound you want, click Choose. When this block runs, it'll play the sound you chose. To add images to your elements, you can just use the Set property block. Select the image property in the second dropdown. Then select Choose from the third dropdown. From here, you can upload an image from your computer, or you can look through a huge library of icons in the icon library. Back in code mode, you can use the Set property block to change the icon color of your icon. Once you've picked what image or icon to use, click Run to see how it looks. That's all there is to it. Now you can start adding images and sounds to make the apps even more fun and dynamic.
So now we're going to move on. The goal for this is to complete the soundboard. So let's see what works. The horse works, the monkey works, the tiger works, but we have to choose this one. So first, we have to set the image. So let's set button 4, the image, and let's choose an image. So now that we're here, we're going to see if we can upload a file. So let's make it a penguin. So now that's going to be a penguin. And let's make it so that let's add the on event. And let's change button 4. So when it's clicked, we'll then play a sound. And let's choose the penguin sound because that's the image we're doing. So now if we run it, it will all be there. If you want to, you can also change the text of it to penguin or whatever other animal you chose. And now we're going to watch a video about design mode.
To build your own apps, you're going to need to start designing screens and elements from scratch. AppLab makes this easy to do with design mode. Use the switch on top of your app to go into design mode. To build your own apps, you're going to need to start designing screens and elements from scratch. AppLab makes this easy to do with design mode. Use the switch on top of your app to go into design mode. You can add new elements by dragging them onto the screen. You can move them around to different locations and change their size by dragging the bottom right corner. To change an element's properties, use the controls on the right. For example, it's really easy to change this button's text, color, and font size. When you add a new element to your screen, it'll get a generic ID like button 1. It's a good idea to change this ID to something more meaningful, like right button, so that you'll know which one it is when you go to the program. If you add an element to your app by mistake, just drag it out or hit delete. You can add entirely new screens to your app by dragging in a screen element. From the drop-down at the top, you can quickly switch back and forth between the screens you create. Inside your app, you'll need a way to switch between all of these screens, so the Set Screen block has been added to the toolbox. Use Set Screen inside an OnEvent block to change screens at the click of a button. In the next few levels, you'll be working on a single project. First, you'll add a button, then you'll add a new screen, and finally you'll write code so that the button switches to the new screen.
So now we're going to move on. And the icon here means it'll be saved across projects. So it's going to be a big project that we're going to be doing. So it wants us to add a second button. So you just take the button here, drag it, like you're able to extend it and make it bigger. Like this. And it wants to make the ID right button. And let's make the text right. So it also explains it here. And remember, if you're stuck, you're able to click here. We're also able to change the font size and the background color. So let's change the background color to red. And the font size to 30. And if you run it, it just shows up there. Now I want us to create a new screen and call it right screen. And we want to add a text label. So for that, just add another button. And let's just add on the text. you went right. So we're also going to change the font size. Let's change it to 40. And if you run it, if you press right, well, we haven't actually implemented that part yet, but there's going to be the right screen. And this is the part where we're going to make it so that if you press right, it'll get you to the screen. So what you can basically do is like, you could also go into text, copy all of this, change it to blocks, then you can just like change it. So let's make it so that if the right button was clicked, it'll set screen to the right screen. And you don't need to change the sound, but you can if you want to. So let's just make this true. And now let's press right. And then do this over the sound. Now we're going to watch a video about sharing our app.
Now that you've learned some of the basics of App Lab, like adding buttons, sounds, images, text, and new screens, you can make all sorts of apps. In the next level, you'll find the app you just finished building. With a little creativity, you can turn this into a personality quiz for your friends, a greeting card that you can share with your family, or a choose-your-own-adventure game. All of these apps are just a combination of the skills you've already learned, and I bet you can come up with even more. Once you're done with your app, you can easily send it to your phone to see how it'll look. Just click Share and enter your phone number here. You'll receive a text message that'll let you open up your app instantly. You can also share a link to your app over social media, or publish it to the Code.org public gallery for other people to play and share. You've just scratched the surface of what App Lab can do. Full App Lab features more advanced user interactions, new screen elements, and even a built-in database, so you can quickly build full-featured apps. At code.org/applab, you'll find the full tool and lots of ideas if you want to keep going. Thanks for coming along the ride. Now go build and share your first app, and keep on building apps with App Lab.
Now, this part of it is just free play. You're able to do whatever you want. You can continue with it, or you could just like completely make a new thing. You can do whatever you want. It's yours to own. So as you can see, this still works. Still right, still left. But that's all from me now. Bye!